After registration, we need to write test scenarios for the login functionality. Writing test scenarios for the login functionality is much easier than writing test scenarios for registration. Why? Because in most applications, the login consists only of two fields: username and password, email and password, or phone number and password. But there are some slight differences between registration and login, and we need to discuss them in this video. So here, like we see, we have in Facebook email address or phone number and password. Let's go to our port, create another card, call it Facebook login. Open it and click on the first checklist. We can say valid login scenarios. Okay. So what are the valid login scenarios? We have valid email and valid password, valid phone number and valid password. So let's first write login using valid email and valid password. Okay. Login using valid phone number and valid password. In the phone number test case or test scenario, we have two forms of valid phone numbers. One with the country code and the other one without country code. For example, in Egypt, I can write my phone number in this format. I can say, for example, 0123456789. Or I can write the same number but without the zero. I can also write +20. This is the country code, and the plus sign can be also replaced with 2 zeros. All of these are valid. All of these are for the same phone number. So here we can write those scenarios. The first phone number we can say with country code, for example, +20. Okay. The second with country code but 00. The third without country code like this, and without country code like this. All of these are valid. Okay. The last one, like we said, is using Arabic letters. So using valid phone number and valid password, and we say Arabic format phone number like this. Okay. So like we see here, we have many valid scenarios, but the email includes only one scenario. Then we have the invalid scenarios. So we can say invalid login scenarios. The first one, verify leaving email or phone number field empty, verify leaving password field empty. The important point here, which is the main difference between registration and login, and you might be asked about it in the interview, is the word invalid. So when we say invalid email address, in the registration, the word invalid email address means that this email has a wrong format, or it is already used, so you can't register with it. In the login form, the word invalid email means that this email is not registered to the website. So here there is a difference between invalid email address in the login and invalid email address in the registration. The same with the phone number. The word invalid phone number in registration means that this format is wrong. It is not a correct format of a phone number, or you entered, for example, letters in the phone number field. But in the login form, the word invalid phone number means that this phone number does not exist. Okay, there is no registered user with this phone number. It might be a valid phone number, but it is not registered. And here, of course, there are two scenarios. If the user enters an invalid phone number, which means that it is not registered, I can encourage him to register using this phone number. If he writes an invalid format phone number, in this case, I will tell him that this format is rejected. The same with the password. The word invalid password in registration means that this format is wrong. Okay, you are using a wrong password format. It doesn't follow the restrictions. The word invalid password in the login means that this password is not the correct password for this user. So in the login form, for each email, there is only one correct password, one valid password. For each phone number, there is only one correct or valid password. In registration, there is an infinite number of valid passwords, but the most important thing is that they follow the requirements that are specified for the password field. So here we can say, for example, in the email, verify login using an invalid email. We mean not registered. Okay. There is also an important scenario. If you make a mistake in writing your email, for example, we say nizam@gmail.com. So I wrote it wrong. I said Gmail like this. I made a mistake. In this case, the correct behavior is that the system corrects me. Okay. He tells me, did you make a mistake in writing your email? So this is also an important scenario. So verify login while making a grammatical or a spelling mistake in the email field. For example, at gmail.com. This is an example. Okay. In the phone number, verify using an invalid phone number. And we mean by invalid, not registered. In the password, verify login using an invalid password. And here we have many scenarios in the password. There is a scenario in which you might enter an invalid password more than one time. In some applications, after 3 attempts, he will block you for a certain amount of time. In some applications, he blocks you after 10 times, but it always happens. If you make a mistake in writing the password more than one time, an error message should appear, whether to encourage you to click on forgot password and he send you a link to your email in order to reset your password. So verify login 10 times using invalid password. Of course, this in Facebook. If this is a banking application, for example, you just have 3 attempts. Also, there is an important scenario in Facebook, which is login using old password. If you try this scenario, login using your password and then change this password, then try to login using the old password. You will find that Facebook is telling you this password has changed. Okay, this is one of the old passwords that you used before, and this password was changed on a certain date. So in this case, he is just helping you in remembering your password. So here, verify login using an old password. So like we see here, there is a difference between login and registration. There is also a difference between login in different applications. Facebook is different than Gmail, is different than any other website, and also login using the website is different than using the mobile application. Also in the password, we might make sure that this I works. Okay, so verify here. This is a valid scenario. Verify clicking on the I icon to show the password. Okay, in some applications, when you open this page, you find the password is already stored. You shouldn't be able to copy and paste it. So if I copy this password, go to another page or any note and paste it, it shouldn't be pasted. It should be either pasted in this format, okay, or it shouldn't be pasted at all. So here, try copying and pasting the password into Word or Notes. Okay, another important point here, if this application remembers your password, like this form, there shouldn't be an I here. Why? This means that any person who opens your laptop, he clicks on the I, he can see your password. So if the application saves your password like this, okay, and you click on login, the I shouldn't appear here. But Facebook doesn't do this. Okay, Facebook either doesn't log you in or logs you in automatically. This appears if you are currently writing the password, and for example, your password is in English and you made a mistake at writing it in Arabic. So you use this I in order to make sure that you are writing the correct password. So those are some scenarios for the login feature in Facebook. I'm certain that if you just invest an amount of time in thinking about other scenarios, you will find other scenarios that you can use in Facebook. Always remember that practice makes perfect. You must practice on writing test scenarios for different applications. This is the only way that will help you in becoming a better software tester, so that when you have a real application inside your company, you are able to generate the most important scenarios for it.